Fright Lab, I'm Lucas Yoakum. It is day 2 of Spooky Season 2025. It is October 2nd. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with another fun-sized review. And this is one I've been looking forward to actually getting to see this one because I've never had a chance to see it on a larger screen, but I'm talking too much. Let's get down to it real quick. We are talking tonight, of course, about another Overdahl joint, the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Now, I alluded last night to Overdahl's his oeuvre, kind of writ large, specifically The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is maybe his biggest film to date. He's, again, best known for a movie called Troll Hunter, which is fantastic. But then there's the Autopsy of Jane Doe. The plot is, well, I won't say that the plot is very straightforward, but here is the gist of it. Here's the setup. A dead body is found in the basement of a residential home amidst just a scene of absolute, unexplained, and maybe even inexplicable carnage. The body, however, doesn't overtly seem damaged, so what could happen, right? The body is taken to a local mortuary and crematorium where they also perform autopsies. A father and son team are charged with taking this body and figuring out just what the hell happened. Needless to say, it is a horror film. Chaos ensues. I really appreciate this movie because it does something that I don't see enough modern horror films really do. By that, I mean, it is a film that is absolutely terrifying. It's one of the last 5 movies I think I've seen that's really given me a hard reset in terms of horror. And I'm not just talking jump scares. There are jump scares aplenty in this movie, but it is just generally scary between the atmosphere, the actual plot itself, the jump scares, etc., etc. It's very, very scary. But one of the things this movie does extremely well, the point I was trying to make, is that it isn't saying something, in the same way that The Witch or Midsommar, any of the quote-unquote elevated horror films, it's not that. It's not a film that's making like a broader social commentary. You could read one in, I think, and I'll spare you anything that I've thought about in that regard. It's not terribly important, but it can be kind of taken whole as its own intense, scary horror movie without adding on any extra layers of social commentary. Not many films know how to do that anymore, and resultingly, I think we're kind of worse off for it. It is one of those rare films that in its pure scariness is, I don't know, it's very refreshing in its pure scariness. So, real quick, the cast. It's such a small cast, it's actually hard to talk about, but for me, the standout is, of course, Brian Cox. Fans of kind of genre cinema writ large are going to be already familiar with him. He's been in some larger films, but I think most people are going to recognize him as the surly, kind of Scots-Irish character from Super Troopers who plays the Chief. Brian Cox has been in a million things. Kind of a fun trivia thing about him. He was the first actor to play Hannibal Lecter before Anthony Hopkins. I've always just thought he underrated that particular role. Very underrated. Otherwise, the cast is so small, it's what they call in certain television shows what they call a bottle episode. It's something that you just don't see enough of, a small space with a small cast that are having to deal with a particular thing. It's just a beautiful setup, and I really do appreciate it. Now, getting to see this film in an audience where about, I would say 50 to 60% of the people hadn't seen it before was a real treat, because good God, some of the scares that, still kind of made me wince or pull back a little bit, being around an audience who's never actually seen it before, man, that is such a wonderful thing. And it's something I love about sharing horror movies, especially in a season where people are a little primed for it, maybe. People right now are really diving into horror movies. I mean, not just culturally, though horror movies have been really good in the last 10 years, but more specifically that because it's Halloween time, because it's starting to get a little spooky, people are really looking for it. And a movie like The Autopsy of Jane Doe really has it. So who's this movie for? If you like your horror movies exceptionally intense, I feel like this is a pretty good film. If you like more supernatural than slasher, this is definitely a film that you'll appreciate. And if you are just looking for a horror movie that is not vibes-based in the way that Beyond the Black Rainbow is vibes-based, but is actually just a scary story, it might be the best in the last 10 years. But that's just me. So, friends, siblings, people who are enjoying the spooky season, I gotta ask you a question. What do you think of the Autopsy of Jane Doe? Is it as scary as I think it is? Is there something scarier I could be watching? You should let us know. We can always be contacted at thefrightlabpodcast@gmail.com. We are also available on all social media. Just look up The Fright Lab. We're everywhere. So we're going to leave it there. There'll be another episode coming pretty quick. And therefore, as always, The Fright Lab is written by me, Lucas Yoakum, and it is produced and edited and beaten into beautiful shape by the one and only Joseph Wren. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll talk to you all again very soon. Enjoy your spooky season, folks.